have people that I follow, I love Billy Carson. I used to follow David Wilcox for a long time. And not that I don't anymore, because I still am subscribed to his channel, but he is, I don't know, there's just something about him. I feel like the Kundalini started to rise, and maybe because of certain things going on here in his heart chakra, that it kind of went a little haywire, like once that starts to rise, I think if it's got to go somewhere, so I think if we're not in alignment and the Kundalini doesn't rise successfully through these chakras, it's going to cause some chaos in our body. So anyway, that's just a feeling I get from that. Anyway, don't make assumptions, right? Yeah, who knows? I know that mental illness in my family has been real. So and I think I come from a long line of neurodivergent family, so obviously neurodivergent, you're getting more messages from the universe, and if you're not on the right frequency, well, then it might affect you. So this talks personal perspective, and I think we have established that the truth is rarely spoken as much as it is heard. So perception of the big picture. Granted, I think that part of that ascension process that gets us to here and kind of like, cracking a code, you have to truly listen to that universal consciousness to tap into that truth. So anyway, I'm sure I'm not explaining myself. So what I was thinking about, and I would really like to hear, everyone else's thoughts on this. So if you would like to do a video response, make sure you tag me and let me know, because I definitely want to know what you think. So, I mean, I'm very much into astrology. I'm a palm reader. So I think that as we go through these incarnations, each incarnation, that, there's lessons that we might have, before we incarnated, we were hoping that we would learn these certain lessons. It's like, okay, I need to incarnate at least one more time because I don't think I quite understood this. And through experience, we learn that lesson. We're here to experience, right? We're here to learn. And there's joy in learning, So anyway, and I think that the ancients used the stars as the guide, like that key that that universal language, which is, hello, we're all looking at the same sky, right? At least if we're all on that same timeline or whatever, that same dimension, all those that are on the same dimension are going to see pretty much, I think, the same things in the physical sense. Maybe. Even that's not probably completely accurate. But I think the ancients thought that's the greatest tool that we can use to communicate with our future selves on these lessons, besides what we can tap into. You know what I mean? Like past life regression, even tarot, anything with symbolism, dreams, divination. So I believe that astrology is extremely important in that manner, because it's that blueprint in time, that specific map in time that says, okay, you didn't quite learn this, so you need to be born at this specific time so that you can use the planets to understand that this is where I still want to guide you, because you're not going to have memory of these past lifetimes. So, I mean, it's just one way. I think we found that we can tap into these past selves and look at it that way. We can get into astrology, and the astrology will help us understand what we still need to learn. And then palmistry kind of shows you where you are on that journey. And if you look back to, like, the ancients were always talking about the planets, and we're also talking about the chakras. So, like, I just got done reading the 3 books of Enoch, and the second book of Enoch is definitely the, how Enoch became Metatron. So, and I know that the Essenes, I think they very much use that type of knowledge of, like Jacob's ladder, going through the chakras, or the 7 levels of heaven, or whatever you want to call it. It is, it's the upgrade, it's the ascension. And ascension means to rise. I think everyone is talking about the same thing. It's that Kundalini energy, the serpent energy that's rising. It's that knowledge, it's that enlightenment that takes you through these 7 levels of whatever you want to call it, the planets, your chakras, the levels of heaven, the levels of consciousness. I think that's all that. And to do that, we have to break through each gate, 7 lamps, seven gates, 7 seals. I mean, I think it's talking about all the same thing. And I think we choose to tap into that, like, biblically speaking, they say there's 144,000. I definitely believe that's a frequency. So it's the choice to be on that higher frequency. And so as we break through these, I think that we were all talking about it. Even Manly P. Hall, like, you guys know, I adore that man. He speaks about the characteristics of each of the planets. So, you have Venus, and that's how we love each other. It's our generosity. It's that physical, even the physical sense of us giving to each other, and so if there's something that you need to learn in that, you're going to see that in your chart wherever Venus is, right? So, I mean, that's why, and that is why I follow True Sidereal myself, just because I feel like, well, if that's my past self or my higher self or whatever, it's all everything that I am trying to communicate to me what my mission is here. Well, then I need it to be very specific. I don't want it to be vague, or seasonal or whatever. I want that specific message, because where those planets are in my chart is what my ancient self, or my ancestors, or me, or God said, this is your guide. This is your instruction manual. So where this planet is in your chart is very important to knowing what your mission is, what you didn't quite accomplish in the other incarnations. And so now here's your opportunity to accomplish it here. So it's very important that you pay attention. And palmistry shows you where you are on that journey. How are you, how well are you doing on this particular journey to learning these lessons and being confident that you've learned it, because we know that karma, you will keep, it's that wheel that you're going to keep jumping on and trying to get off. But unless you're actually working through that, you're going to stay on that wheel. It means you're going to keep having the same reoccurring lesson. That's why it's so important to know. And it's like, I think that the ancients knew that. And so they're like, okay, how can we help them, knowing that they're going to lose memory, besides like personally right now I'm taking classes on hypnotherapy because I'm just getting my feet wet. I've been learning about psychoanalysis. I've been doing that for the last 3 years. So psychology is very important to me. But the spiritual aspect of it is that, I can tap into that, into the conscious, into the superconscious, into the Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It's that, to me, that's God. It's the spirit. It's what connects us all. I know that I can tap into that. And we are learning that through, hypnosis or past life regression, that we can learn about our past lives. And it is important because it helps us to understand what that mission is here. But I also believe that that's in the birth chart and we can see where we are on that journey in our hands. I mean, we can use tarot, dreams. I mean, every little bit of tapping into that, when we're not able to just go there. You know what I mean? Because in the physical sense, we are tethered in this physical realm, which has a frequency that keeps us grounded, right? So in order to ascend, we have to raise that frequency. So, and I think that that's kind of what Enoch did. He went through the 7 levels, the 7 chakras, the 7 planets. He worked through all that to become Metatron. So it's like he did not have a physical death because he understood that through, raising his frequency and breaking through these 7 seals in his body or chakras or planets or whatever, he was able to understand what it means to manifest. And if you think about what scientists are doing, like, I don't know if you've heard of the Project Looking Glass. It's like that was to replicate, our pineal, what the pineal does for us. It's the Stargate, and CERN, which is like a particle collider. It's to take something from thin air and just manifest something that is mass, physical mass. So like these scientists are trying to replicate what the body does naturally. It's these gifts that we have from, that we've always had, and even if you look at it in a religious sense and you look at the Bible, if you take it further, like you don't just stop there, but you take it a little bit further and you go back to what the ancients were talking about. Like, again, Enoch, I feel like that was left out on purpose because, if you're in those lower vibratory frequencies, then you're not going to hear the higher frequencies. So the enlightenment is going to be either a very slow process for you or it may not even happen. But what would that benefit the people that want you here? I think sometimes it's about control. So it's like, if you're being fed lies, there's the part of me that wonders, like, what is the point of somebody, an elitist or whatever, my conspiracy mind definitely would think about, like, what would be the reason for the people that want to control the world, that have all this money, that want to control the world, to keep us all dumbed down and to keep us all from not realizing our potential and our gifts. It is because their ego is so immense that they can't see outside of it, and we are just nothing but workers to them. So to me, if we understand who we are, they have no power over us. Well, they lose their workers then. It's just like, I don't think I really have to say it. I think we all understand that whole concept. We've worked in a place at one time in our lives where the boss was just like, you're just a number and you're here to work for me. If you really find out that you can move up the ladder and replace me, well, you know what? Then I don't have my job anymore. And that's not happening. So, I think that, we're part of a corporation, and as long as we're in these lower frequencies, we're not really aware of that we can move up that ladder. And I think that's what everybody's trying to say. So, I'm sure that I'm not telling you anything that you haven't thought about. But I would like to hear your perception on it, and really it's not, I don't think there's any right or wrong answers in any of this. I just think that, when we talk to each other and we give different perspectives, it broadens the whole picture, and because I know that I got here where I'm at this particular point in time, just from listening to other people. And of course, my nose in a book, like you can't see behind there, but those are all my books. And I need to get some shelves because this is all on my desk and you can't even, but anyway, I've got like 3 layers of tarot and books and stuff, and I have more kind of, but I'm up in my bedroom. So, and then I have a lot of stuff on Audible that I am reading. Like right now, I'm also learning. Like I've learned about the Tree of Life, but I'm relearning about the Tree of Life. So I definitely dabble in all the different quote unquote religions. I've had my nose in the Bhagavad Gita, and which is a different perception, but yet it's still saying the same thing. Even like the Enuma Elish is saying the same thing as the Bible. It's just at least 2,000 years earlier. So it's like somebody was plagiarizing that stuff. Maybe. I don't want to say anything to make anybody angry, but you know what I'm saying. To me, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the commonalities. I think that's why I choose to be omnis, because when I was very much just about the King James version of the Bible, I couldn't understand where all this other stuff was coming from, if that's the truth. You know what I mean? Because there was something inside of me that would resonate with other things that I would hear, and I'd be like, well, that's not in the Bible. So then I would second guess it. And now that I've actually gone outside of the Bible and read pretty much anything and everything I can get my hands on that talks about what the ancients did, because I think that, it's important to know what they learned, if you can, as much as you can, because it's going to help you understand. Every experience is important. And so, now I'm understanding that I can't box myself into one way of thinking, especially if I hear something that goes, that resonates. Why does it resonate? Oh, I think it's because if you're trying to put a puzzle together and you don't have every piece to put the puzzle together, the picture's not complete. And if you look at those pieces in the puzzle, each one is so intricate and different. Even if the puzzle itself has similar pieces that look alike, the picture itself that it's all different. It's all these pixels are different, but you put them all together and it makes the picture. And the picture is perfect, except if you're missing a piece. So each one of us is the piece of the puzzle, and we have to be uniquely different to make up the whole big picture. So that's why I think it's so important to listen and absorb other people's truths. You don't have to, it's kind of that whole thing. You take what serves and leave the rest, right? Because it's to expand and upgrade our consciousness. And I think that, the Mayan calendar probably stopped at 2012, because that's when I think that universal consciousness opened its eyes here on Earth. That there were so many people that were tapping in that we brought that super consciousness right here, which means the frequency of the Earth just started to get higher. You know what I mean? Again, I know I don't speak eloquently, but I think you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, that's why I'm omnis, because I know that there is truth in everything, but not one is the truth. So not one person is going to speak the truth. You're only going to hear the truth in everything, but not in one person, or not one analogy, or one, doctrine. It's just going to be in everything, yeah. So, it was kept out, to me. When somebody says, "Ooh, you're not supposed to read that," or "that you shouldn't be reading," I'm gonna read it. Because I'm not a person that goes, "Oh, okay." No, I'm like, I want to know why. Well, why then? I remember my mom telling me when I was like 15 or 16, I had checked out the Satanic Bible from my school library, by the way. the one written by Anton LaVey. And I just remember her telling me, Carla, you know, curiosity killed the cat. She goes, I'm not telling you to read it or not, but I'm just telling you that curiosity killed the cat. And I love my mom dearly, but it's like warning somebody that you may not like what you find out. And so maybe you shouldn't. And I still, like, to this day, I did not actually read all of it. I just kind of stuck my nose in the first few pages. And then I just kind of didn't really care for the energy that I was getting from that. And so I didn't read it. I didn't. But it wasn't because my mom was warning me against it. It was because I actually thought, okay, I need to check this out for myself. And, you know, but there's other texts too. Like, my sister gave me a text that was about true magic, and I can't even think of what it was called, but she was like, I couldn't read it, so if you want to read it, and the book even warns you that if you don't have a pure heart, to not read any farther into it. And I started to, because I thought, okay, I'm going to try, and then nope, I'm pretty sure it was my higher self said, no, you don't need to read the rest of it. Now, since then, I have read a lot of books on magic and even dark magic, because I feel like now I can listen and learn, but more of a aspect of just knowing, again, how someone else has perceived what magic is to them, and being very clear about what they felt were the dangers of it. And, you know, like, now I can actually read about it, but I don't read it because I'm going to practice. I read it because I want to know what's in people's minds. That's really about it. I have, like, it's more about understanding, I guess. It's more about, you know, the more I understand, the more compassion I can have for others, the more that I understand. I think that's kind of what it means to me is, you know, you can't judge anybody because you do not know their path. You do not know the shoes that they wear. You do not know what they have experienced. You don't know anything about them because you're not them. So by understanding and listening, it is the closest thing you're ever going to come to know, because they are sharing their truth with you. So that shouldn't be used to judge others. It should be used to have compassion, because knowing that we are imperfect in our journeys, that we all make mistakes, and we're all on that learning, we're all in the same journey to learn and upgrade. We don't want other people judging us. We want them to have compassion and hope that we're going to, you know, be our best self, you know, and the only way to do that is to be authentically us, you know. Anyway, that's it. So do what you will. And I appreciate you taking the time and sharing this space with me and anybody that's followed me. And I hope I gave you a little bit of insight to how my brain works. I will forever be a conspiracy theorist, but it's because I'm a critical thinker, because I question everything, you know. And if there's a rabbit hole to go down, if it's something that I think is important, I know that I'm going to know if it is or not, if it's either a waste of my time or not, or whatever. I know. And it's not because somebody warned me against it. It's because I trust my higher self. I trust God, you know, because, gee, guess who I think God is? Now, my physical self, maybe not as much to trust, but I'm not asking my physical self questions, you know, so that's it. And I hope everyone has a blessed day. And maybe I'll see you again sooner than later.